Our next storyteller is actually my dad, Bob Suit. Welcome, Bob, up to the stage. And I'll just share real quick, when I told my parents that I was going to do the first crossing, my dad was, he was a Marine, a firefighter. He knows a lot about safety, a lot about preparation. And he said, Travis, that's why God invented Mercuries.
Outboard engines.
Outboard engines, yes.
Yeah, everybody has Yamahas now.
All right, you're up.
Okay, I know I have a deadline here of 5 minutes. I wanted to defer to Kyle because he actually, and Travis, was ahead of me. But what happened was, when Travis told me about this idea of paddling across the Gulf Stream, I thought to myself, Travis, you don't know what you're saying. And when I mentioned it, we both belonged to the West Palm Beach Fishing Club. And I said, Travis and a couple of friends are going to paddle across the Gulf Stream. And they said, what, in canoes? And I said, no, on a paddleboard. And they looked around like, he is crazy. And I said, well, I'm going to go with them. And I said, I don't want to lose my son in the Bermuda Triangle, So that's what happened. And we went over, and there were 2 boats, 4 paddlers. Travis, Shane Pompa, Kyle, and Joe. We go over there, we get to Bimini, and the weather, you can't control that. The weather kicked up on us. And so the night we left, on Friday morning, they were leaving Saturday night, the flag was straight. It did not lay down. I don't even know if the Coast Guard knew we were out there. They probably would have not have let them leave Bimini. But anyway, we went to the beach and put out, 2 boats, 4 paddlers. The seas were probably 3 to 4 to 5 close to shore. Out in the Gulf Stream, they were like 5 to 7. And I'm telling you, those 4 paddlers, they struggled. We had paddled offshore, practiced a couple of times, and it was nothing to it. Well, you get in that Gulf Stream at night, and the Gulf Stream is always bigger. And that's what happened. Pitch black, 2 boats out there by ourselves, no support boats, And the one thing that really stands out in my mind is that we had 2 paddlers behind each boat, and Travis is behind, and I think Shane was off to the side. I think it was Shane. And a wave picks up Travis, and he comes over the boat right between the engines, the paddleboard, right up between the engines, and I saw him bail off. And I'm like, oh, man, I hope he made it, because if he didn't, he's going to bleed to death out here. We have no help. Well, he pops up, in the waves, and we got him back on the board, and we came on across, came in the inlet over here at West Palm Beach, and the publicity that had been derived from it, they were not even ready for us. That wind and current had pushed us so far north so fast, they were early out there. But the other thing I want to say is, that was just a small event. Now, what it's turned out to, and I told Travis, I learned this a long time ago, when you have an event like this, it takes planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. Those 5 things have to be in place. And now he has a crew around him, an army of volunteers and people in his staff, all of them. They do all this, and it's an incredible event now. And I'm amazed. I'm totally amazed at what it's turned out to be. And it's all because of Travis. And all I can say is I hope it continues as long as he can make it go. And I know he's determined to make it go as long as possible. So I'll say this about paddlers. I think you all have the most courageous something in your genes that will let you paddle into the Gulf Stream at night in the dark and go. People say, well, I ran a marathon, I did a triathlon, and I can always say, have you ever paddled across the Gulf Stream at night? and they'll say no. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here and all his support people. He's got a tremendous army of volunteers around him, and that's the only way this will work. Thank you so much.